Hi everybody, it's Carol. I'm back. It's 3:59. So as always, I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to jump on before we get into this afternoon's bonus session. Creativity isn't only for artists, so we're going to talk about that and a few other things and have a little time for Q&A if anybody has any questions on this call. We ran really a little long on the 12 o'clock call. Hi Noelle, how are you? Nice to see you. We ran a little long on the 12 o'clock call, not too crazy, but a little long because the topic at 12 o'clock was resumes and LinkedIn content and cover letters. And that's the kind of thing we could talk about for like days on end. At least I know I could. And I think based on the questions, excuse me, you guys could as well. So I wanted to, hi, Michelle. I wanted to just, jump in a minute early and be here for you guys to get started. And this is Benny. This is my little Benny. He's so silly. And he was starting to bark a little bit before I got on this call because his sister Daisy downstairs was starting to bark because I'm sure somebody walked past the house or did some terrible thing that they are not allowed to do without her permission. Right, baby? So, yeah, it's nice kisses. So, they've been really, really good during all these sessions. I can't believe that I've done this many live sessions for this long. And hi, Tiffany, that, we've done this many live sessions and they haven't barked. It's unbelievable. And I even had a client call at 2 o'clock and they didn't bark during that either. So they're being so good, but I figured I'd let you guys see, if you see this little baby, because he's so sweet. And this is something he does sometimes in the afternoon. He lays here on mommy's shoulder and he's a baby. He's 2.5, but he's a baby. He loves his mommy. And we're celebrating Daisy's birthday on Friday, right? We got our pup pie in the mail. We're going to have pup pie for Daisy's birthday, right, Ben? Yeah, we are. Okay, I'm going to hold him for a few minutes just because I think it'll help him to settle down a little bit and maybe not start barking. So anyway, yeah, he is so sweet and cute, isn't he, Nancy? I know. He really is. And he's the sweetest little dog. He really is. Benny is the sweetest little dog. He's so happy and so good every day. It's just really a joy for me to have him and Daisy here and there. They are definitely my puppy. They are my empty nest redirection of my maternal instinct because they're really sweet. I enjoy them so much. But anyway, on to the content. I wanted to first of all say thank you so much to those of you who not only are participating so much in the workshop, but also who are taking a leadership role by posting some things. And yeah, thank you, Michelle. Posting some things and, really just taking some to leadership here. So Tracy posted, did a post about connecting in the group, which is really, yes, the wiener, little Mr. Wiener. Connecting with the other people in the group. Yeah, there's 500 people in this group and Facebook makes it easy for you to go and take a look and see, if you have anything in common with any of those people, right? And you can friend them, you can talk to them, so this is another way, forming an intentional community around like-minded people, right? So, we talked about LinkedIn and reaching out to people on LinkedIn. Well, right, here's 500 people in a group that you're in right now, who are already have self-selected, right, to be in this group and, excuse me, are, sitting there just waiting for you to say hi to them. So, I think that's a really good idea. And thank you, Tracy, for doing that. And then LaTanya posted some LinkedIn resources that she found on her LinkedIn, which I think are really great as well. I'm going to actually take a look at those in a little more depth and dig into that because I'm sure there's something for me to learn there as well. Looks like there's some really good updated information on, hot skills and things like that. It has been a little while since I've done some technical recruiting and there's definitely some, some skills on there that I'm not that familiar with. So that was really good too. And then Murphy and I had a super secret conversation about something that she wants to do to help out. And I can't tell you about that yet. We'll tell you about that tomorrow. But Murphy also has been really taking a leadership role as well. So, and I'm sure there's others who have posted something or done something and I just haven't seen it yet. But anyway, I really appreciate that because, it really helps it really helps to foster the sense of community. He has the hiccups now. Oh my goodness, my baby. It really helps to foster the sense of community, you know, when everybody shares, because it's not just about, you know, me teaching you something or me telling you to do something, right? It's really about the, you know, one of the things I am teaching you is that networking and community is so important, right? And we can very much learn from each other, and we never know who we can learn from. So that is why it is so important to build that community. So I thank you guys for that. I'm loving your homework so far. Don't forget, please, to do your homework. Today I'm giving away some FabFitFun, it's so hard to say that, starter boxes as prizes for homework today. So please do your homework. It really is a pretty easy one today. It's not that difficult a homework. You know, I made it easy today, so I want you guys to be able to make, you know, not get too overwhelmed by the homework. I know I've given you a lot of exercises and things to do on your own time and in your own time, you know, beyond the workshop as well. But I wanted to make the homework, you know, what we're really actually sharing every day, you know, to be pretty simple, just so that it's easy to do, you know, so that you can take advantage, of course, of winning things, but also to just be able to feel like, you know, you got to win, you know, as far as you got to win as far as you had an aha moment, or, you know, you figured something out, right? So I hope you guys have been having that experience, because I've been seeing some really good breakthroughs just in, you know, and today's only day 3, right? And I've been seeing some really good breakthroughs in ideas and, you know, movement that you've been having. So, so if anybody agrees with me, shoot me some little emojis and love. I like donuts and puppies, but I also like hearts and fire and, you know, all the other cool emojis. So shoot me some emojis if you get a second. And then another fun thing I wanted to share is that in addition to my fiction books, I have some audiobooks as well. And for some reason, the audiobook creation people who publish to Audible have, and I don't know if it's pandemic related, but they have been so slow to get new audiobooks published. So I have an audiobook that was completed the beginning of February, so 3 months ago, right? For the Something Molly Can't See book. And I think one of you actually asked for that as your prize for one of your homeworks one day, and I sent that over. And it's really a fun book, and the audiobook is just hilarious. My narrator did a great job. And the freaking book has been sitting there for 3 months waiting, you know, for it to launch. So it's been really frustrating. So yesterday, my narrator, Rose, and I got super excited because it finally says it's heading to retail. So in the next couple of days, that audiobook will be available. So yay, Mommy's book, yay. He looks at me like I'm crazy, which I guess a little bit I am. So that was just a super something exciting that I wanted to share. So let's talk about today's main content. And I just want to talk a little bit about this. And then, of course, you know, I don't want to keep you guys on the phone forever, because I know 3 calls a day is a lot for this. And I really appreciate those of you who are sticking with me. And you know, I know some of you are popping in and out. Please remember that these are always recorded and they're available under the video tab in the Facebook group. So if you have to drop off, or, you know, you can't be live on all of the calls, you can catch up on them anytime. And anybody that you invite into the group who has, you know, come in and joined us a little bit later, you know, they can also get caught up by viewing any of those other calls that we've done, you know, at their own leisure, and they can get caught up too. So and I appreciate that as well. Many of you have referred a lot of people into the group, and we are at 500 members now in our group, which is very exciting. So let's talk a little bit about creativity. So tell me I guess I would really like to see, when I say the word creativity, what is the main thing you think of? So if you guys could type in the chat, what is the main thing you think of when I say the word creativity? And I know you have ideas because you've been doing all sorts of wonderful participating with your chat typing. So what is it that comes to mind when you hear creativity? I think for most people, what comes to mind is, you know, people will say, I'm not creative, I'm not an artist, you know, which is certainly why I called this, you know, creativity isn't only for artists. So I think a lot of people just think creativity means, you know, drawing, writing, you know, and I think even for me, you know, I obviously do a lot of writing. Yeah, thinking outside the box, Michelle. Yep, the arts is what most people think. Yep. You're an idea, not somebody else's. Yep, unique ideas. So yeah, I think, but what Nancy said, the arts, I think, is what comes to mind first for most people, you know, when they really haven't done much thinking about this. And I know even for myself, I have said many times, I'm not a creative person. And I've had to start changing that, because what I mean by that is I can't draw. I can't draw a straight line. And, you know, I raised a little artist who's now a big artist. And actually behind me on the wall, you probably wonder what all this like weird little stuff is on the wall back here. This is art that Nick did, my son, when he was a little baby, a very young child. And I have those up there. There's a real, I really need to take the one down and let you see it. It's hilarious because it's a portrait of mommy that he did when he was like 3 years old. And it's just adorable. So I'm going to take that down at some point in this workshop and show you, because it's really cute. But, you know, so I always think in terms of that, right? Like drawing, art is painting, art is drawing, right? Or that's what creativity is. And I've always thought in those terms. Well, then of course I'm like, well, I write books, so that's certainly creative, right? So I can't say I'm not creative. So then I guess I started saying I'm not artistic. But creativity, yeah, means a lot of other things. And, you know, right, different ways of looking or getting something done. Tracy said, Tiffany said, exploring new ideas outside the box. Tracy said, Murphy said, your own ideas. And there's some other ones that are up there that I can't see anymore. But yeah, it's so anyone can be creative. And I think it's very important to be creative in your job search and in your career. You know, we can create, design anything, right? We can create and design anything. Yes, I think of new tech as creative. Tracy says, yes, right. So, you know, my husband, for instance, you know, I'm always talking about my husband on these calls, is an engineer, and he always says, you know, he's not creative. And he's not creative as far as, you know, he can't draw. When we play Drawful, we all laugh for like hours at his drawings. They're so funny. He's even, I think he might even be worse than me. He can't draw. He definitely isn't creative as far as like writing or, you know, none of these traditional arts, right, that we're thinking of. But he is very creative in solving problems, you know, so he can fix anything. So he can find a creative solution to fix pretty much anything you have that's broken. Like if it's fixable, he can fix it, right? So certainly he's using creativity to do that, right? To fix things. So yeah, we all use creativity every day. So we can create many different things, right? And one of the things we can create is the career that we want, you know, and I think all too often, and I'm not sure which day we talked about this, it might've been Monday, all too often we give our power away to other people when it comes to our careers, because we think of the person, you know, who is sitting behind the desk, you know, that I call them the job giver outer, right? The person who is going to hire you, right? So whether that be the recruiter or the hiring manager or the HR person or whoever, right? And even like in my case, you know, the client could be considered, right, the job giver outer, right? And so we give power to all these people who, you know, yes, they do have some power and control. Sure they do, but they don't have all the power and control. They have as much as we're willing to give them, you know, because there isn't only one job in the world. There isn't only one client in the world. There isn't, you know, and even at a time like this where, you know, things are tough, there is not only one opportunity for anyone. So because of that, you need to really make sure. What is Tracy's little emoji that she does? Oh, mind blown. Yeah, I love the mind blown emoji. That's so cute. I'm old. I can't see it unless I squint up front. I don't have my old lady glasses on. But yeah, so it's right. It's creative problem solving. And you can create your own career, and you can, you know, you be the architect of your own experience. Now, like I said, do you have 100% control? No, of course not. No one has 100% control of anything, right? I mean, we all have outside influences to deal with, but I have to put this little guy down. He's very anxious. Okay, get down, honey. Go eat some more food in your bowl. But, you know, we still have a lot more control than we take for ourselves, because I think we like to just say, well, it's not my fault that this isn't working out. It's because of those jerks that interviewed me, or it's not my fault that it's not working out. I sent my resume, all the recruiters didn't, you know, look at it, or you know, I hear people saying, oh, it's the applicant tracking system didn't, you know, I didn't get past the bots or whatever, you know. Any and all of these excuses might have a little bit of validity, but at the end of the day, living with excuses and using excuses just doesn't help you. It does not help you. It makes nothing better. So instead of looking for, you know, whose fault it is, you really need to look inward and use your creativity, use your problem solving skills, use your new ideas. And that's why a lot of the exercises that I do with people, and a lot of the exercises in my book, The Smart Chick's Guide to Career Happiness, which is available for all of you guys to download right now in the Facebook group. It's in the files section. It's free. It's there. It's not going to be there forever. But during this workshop, it is going to be there through, the middle of next week. So, so please take advantage of that and download that. And save that to your computers. But in there, there's a lot of activities and exercises and journaling prompts and things like that for you to do that really have a lot to do, a lot to do with creativity, and just thinking about just new ideas, new ways of thinking. So for instance, the homework today, I asked you to create basically what is an avatar, and I don't know if you guys are all familiar with that term, but an avatar, basically like a character. Like I basically asked you to create like a character sketch, right? Of the person who would be able to help you most in your career. What does that person look like? And then, once you do that, now you've kind of brought that person to life, and now you can go find them, right? Instead of just scrolling through LinkedIn profiles and saying, I don't know who to contact. It's overwhelming. There's so many people on LinkedIn. In fact, I told you guys before that I thought it was about 400 million users on LinkedIn. And I was just on LinkedIn earlier, accepting one of your connection requests. I think it was Stephanie. And I saw a little advertisement. It said there are 627 million LinkedIn users. And that, of course, that's globally, but a lot, obviously, more than any of them are US users, I'm sure. But yeah, so that's a lot of freaking people. And when you start looking through all those people, it makes you a little crazy. You're like, who am I supposed to connect with? How do I know who to connect with? So, that's why I try to, help you guys to think outside the box and not only think outside the box, but get rid of the box. Throw the box in a garbage. Like, I hate the box. The box is dumb. The box is bad. Don't put yourself in a box. Just get rid of the box. Get rid of the box. Every idea that you have is potentially valid and needs to be tested before it is discarded. Because, anybody who is creative will tell you, creative in the traditional sense, right? The making things sense. So whether it's somebody making a new product or somebody designing a building, right? An architect, or, like my son is a graphic designer and designs assets for, companies' branding. I write books, things like that. Someone who composes music, right? Anybody who creates anything new, right? When you're doing that kind of work, it's not a one and done kind of thing. I don't sit down and write a book. And I know Tracy has been writing a book, and I think there's a couple of other people in the group who've done some writing. You do not sit down and nobody does. Nobody. And if you think they do, it's not true. Like the most famous authors, the most, popular people who do anything, they don't sit down and just go, I'm writing my book. Okay, it's done. It's perfect. No, I mean, that's not the way it is. Even if you don't have writer's block, even if you know exactly what you want to say and you have an outline and you're good to go, right? And you're doing the thing, you always revise. You always come up with new ways. You always come up with new things. And, so creativity isn't, I have an idea and I immediately decide that idea is not going to work. So now that's it. I'm done. I don't try any harder. My son with the graphic design, it's unbelievable. When I look at, when he comes home, he'll bring his computer home and show me like projects he's working on. He used to do this with school projects. Now he does it with work projects, which is nice. But he'll show me like, Mom, these are all the logos all the logo ideas I made, whatever, for this client. He's like, literally made like 200 logos. and one of them might be the one that ends up being picked, but even that, none of those might even be the one that they go with. They might even still, come up with more tweaks to that. And I'm like, how could you come up with 200 different things, 2 different logos? It's because it's not a one and done thing. It is not that way. It has to be tested. And, the same thing if someone's making a physical product, think about like electronics or cars or, any of this stuff. That you don't just make that and, oh, well, there it is. It's done. No, there was no issues with that. Nothing happened. So if you don't persevere with your creativity, you're not going to get anywhere. So when you have new ideas, when you have ideas about what it is you want to do, when you have ideas about who you'd like to talk to, when you have ideas about what you want to put on your resume or your LinkedIn profile or cover letter, like we talked about today, Whatever new ideas you have, if you're in the box, get out of the box, throw the box away, bring it to the recycling, and think with more of a beginner's mind, with more of a clean slate wiped, right? Killing limiting beliefs, killing all these, negative thoughts. Don't tell people about your ideas if you think they're going to shoot them down or if you haven't worked on them yet. That's the other thing. The worst thing you can do is get a great idea about something you want to do and then tell somebody about it before you've had a chance. It's your new little fledgling baby little idea, right? It's your little seedling of an idea and you're excited about it because you think you want to research this now and you want to see if it's going to work and you want to try to do it. And you tell somebody who says, oh, that won't work. That's not a good idea. Or no, everybody has tried that. That's stupid. Or you're too old to do that. Or that's not going to work. Or you won't make any money doing that. Or whatever, whatever the case may be, right? And it squashes your little seedling. It's a bubble burster, a balloon burster, right? It's like you were excited and now, it's rained on your parade. All the analogies for bursting your bubble. But yeah, so don't tell people. Do these exercises quietly, with yourself. Or who can you tell? Who are good people to tell if you're working on this type of stuff? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Who are good people to share your creative ideas with, or who are good people to talk to about this stuff? Anybody have any thoughts on that? I know it takes a moment to type, so I'm not going to assume that you're not hearing me or listening to me. Because then I immediately feel bad and think, no one cares. What? No one wants to answer my question. Anybody have any ideas? Where's a good place to share your creativity on stuff having to do with career? Right, a mentor, sure. And a mentor is something you can also find on LinkedIn sometimes as well. There's a lot of people who love to mentor people, encouraging people, right? And where do you find them? You find them in groups like this. I mean, you've all been very encouraging with each other already, not only, the people in this group, and groups like this, you can, there's so many things that you can join, where you can join together with other like-minded people, where you feel like you're in a safe place, to share. People won't just shoot your ideas down, and people will be open because they are also on that same path. They are also seeking, right? So you're all seeking career happiness. The group is called Professional Women Seeking Career Happiness. So you're all seeking the same thing, right? So yeah, and so you tell your best friend and your boyfriend, and that's great, Tracy, if those people are not bubble bursters, and I'm guessing they're probably not since you have continued to tell them. But sometimes those people can be bubble bursters, and they're not always bubble bursters because they're mean, terrible people. Sometimes they're bubble bursters just because they don't know enough about what it is you're telling them about. They have their own fears around change and getting out of the box and their comfort zone and all those things we've already talked about this week so far, right? And they also care about you, and they don't want you to be hurt, and they don't want you to be disappointed. My husband does that to me sometimes. He's gotten a lot better, but I used to tell him, you're a big bubble burster. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing anymore. And he's gotten a lot better. He really has, because I think he's seen that he needs to be, not project his risk aversion onto me, or not project the way he would view some of this stuff that I'm doing, onto me. Because I'll tell him an idea and he would be like, oh, I don't know, that sounds hard, or that sounds risky. And then if you have this fledgling little idea, you immediately feel now like your bubble has been burst and you've been squashed. And now you start to immediately go back to the limiting beliefs, the second guessing, and you just jump back in your box, right? And that person didn't mean it in a bad way. He's just trying to protect me, and I would get mad at him and he would say, well, I just don't want you to be disappointed. And I'm like, well, that's part of life. If you don't do something, Eeyore Murray said, if you're never disappointed, again, you've never tried anything. Just like if you've never failed, you've never tried anything, right? So I really just wanted to bring this topic up and point it out to you guys, because I think that you need to own your own creativity. You need to own your own good ideas. and you need to investigate your own good ideas, you know, and really run them through that lens of reality, run them through that clarity, and just see, you know, what you have, and at the end of the day, and not go around just thinking, well, I'm not creative because I don't know how to draw, or I'm not creative because I don't know how to write a book. Yeah, you're strong enough to get through disappointment, Murphy. Exactly. And you have to be, you know, we have to be, because if we're not strong enough to get through disappointment, we're never going to have any happiness. Because if you really, truly never, if you never experience any disappointment, you've probably never tried to do anything. So, you know, you're still not protecting yourself. It's just very false. It's all very false, because you don't have what you want, anyway, you know, because you're not trying to get it. So that was just something I wanted to add, you know, to this conversation, because I think a lot of the things that I'm asking you guys to do this week and into next week are creative things, and I am asking you to look at things in different ways. It's funny, at 2:00 I had a one-on-one coaching call with one of my clients, and she actually did the exercise that I asked you guys to do, about looking for the job postings. So she actually, I had her do that exercise last time we worked together one-on-one, and she sent me a whole bunch of job postings that were of interest to her. And so we talked about that today, and she really had a lot of aha moments around that. And she said, like, she wasn't looking at job postings that way before. She wasn't looking at them with like that fresh eye and that creative eye, like thinking about how, like, creating your own job description, like pulling together the pieces of what it is you really want. And then that's what you're putting out into the universe. That's what you're targeting. You know, she never thought of it that way before. And, so she was really excited about that. And I was really excited for her. And I told her about you guys, and that, you were doing that exercise at the same time. So I felt like you were all like kind of together, but separate, you know, but working on the same kind of stuff. So that was kind of fun. So I don't want to keep you guys forever talking about the same thing. So that was kind of my spiel on creativity for this evening. Does anyone have any questions? I hadn't seen any other questions, but I'll tell you, between these calls and then I had another call, and you know, it's every couple of hours I'm doing something. So, and now after this, we're going to go on our daily walk. I'm sure it's a beautiful day out, so it's a good day to do it. And then try to eat some dinner, and then I'll be back here at 8 with you guys to talk about consistency. Consistency is crucial. So that's going to be another fairly quick chat, and we'll have some time for Q&A then too. And, you know, of course, I realize not all of you can be on every call. As I always say, please remember that these are all recorded. Of course, I'd love for you all to be on every call, but I know that's not realistic. So those of you who can make it, please do invite others. And if you're not able to join later, that call will be, you know, recorded right after and available as well. So don't forget to do your homework. I want to be able to give people prizes. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to remind you guys of too is that many of you have referred people. Murphy's been doing the homework in her mind. Yeah, deep thinking. All right, well, you can put some of it down, you know, in the group, and then do the rest of the deep thinking. You know, it doesn't, remember, it done is better than perfect, at least certainly for the purposes of our homework, right? We just want to get something out, right? But I know I have a tendency to do that. I just do too much deep thinking before I'm willing to commit to anything. But yeah, just give us what you got so far, right? And don't overthink it. Try not to overthink it. But the other thing I wanted to mention before we get off today is referrals. So you guys have been referring people like crazy. A lot of you have referred a lot of people, and it really is, you know, certainly warms my heart, and I really appreciate it. And I hope some of you on the call right now are people who've been referred by someone else in the group, because I think that is just, if that's not, you know, the epitome of networking and community and all that stuff, I don't know what is, you know. So I just love women helping other women. Certainly it's my goal to help as many women as possible with their careers, and, you know, I'm working on ways to do that all the time. And I'm just excited about that. But if you have referred people, I can't keep track of that. So you need to send me a message, send me a DM, PM, whatever the M is called on Facebook. I think it's a PM. Send me a message and tell me the names of the people that you've referred who have joined our group, because I want to be able to reward you. And I am going to take all of those, all of your names that, you know, so if you refer 10 people, you get 10 entries. If you refer 2 people, you get 2 entries, whatever it is. And I'm going to put all those entries together. And at the end of the workshop, I am going to choose somebody to get a free one-on-one strategy session with me as a gift to you for, you know, referring people. So that's really like, so that's why it's really a referral contest, you know. There is something to win here other than just the joy of having your friends in the group with you, which is certainly, I know, I think a win enough, and helping them, to be able to work on their careers and take advantage of this content as well. But I do want you guys to be able to have the opportunity to win, and I don't know who's referred who. So please, if you've referred people, tell me, and I will keep track of it. So that is all I had to talk to you guys about at this session. Does anyone have any questions or anything they would like to talk about before we sign off till our 8 o'clock session? And I'm just going to wait a moment because I know it takes a moment sometimes to type some things. Yeah, and it's only 4:29, so we're good. And then I'm going to go do actually, I'm going to sit down for a minute, and then we're going to do our walk. And then I'm going to figure out what we're going to eat. That's the other thing. I never know what we're going to eat. And I'm sick of that. Sick of it. It's like being the dinner picking person is not fun. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Okay, I don't see anybody typing anything. So if you do have something, of course, save it for 8 o'clock, and we'll talk about it then. You know all the ways to contact me. Put it in the group, put it in the Q&A thread, send me a PM, whatever you need to do. And I will talk to you ladies in a few hours. Have a wonderful late afternoon, early evening, and we'll see you at 8. You're welcome. Bye-bye, guys.